Hello there, and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 4. We're still working on the environment, and today's topic is outdoor time. And again, as always, I ask that you rush over to the website, Life, Edit, and Design, and quickly go to the podcast tab and download the worksheet for this episode so that you can follow along. This time I'm demonstrating it on my iPad, but there is, obviously the paper version that you can print out for yourself, or if you have, if you want to take the PDF, you can put it right onto your GoodNotes app if you have that, and follow along right online. So either way, it works for us, but today I thought it'd be fun to demo this right on the iPad. So again, this is Season 1, Episode 4, and today we're talking about time spent in the outdoors. So first off, why is that important? Let's dive right into that and talk about the benefits. I mean, why do you need to spend time outside? What's important about it? So I've given you a few benefits that, obviously you're going to have your own benefits, and that's what these lines are for. But I wanted to give you just some of the generic ones. There's a lot of science out there, a lot of studies about spending time in the outdoors. And I love this first one, that it gives you a brain boost, but there's actually a study that it gives you about a 20-minute brain boost equivalent to a cup of coffee. So that's kind of cool. So don't need the caffeine, hop outside and you get the same benefit of just being outdoors, being in the environment. And when I say outside, it doesn't have to be completely in the wilderness. It just means outside of a physical structure, but your car does not count as being outside. So outside, actually in touch with nature. Second thing is boost creativity, which you've probably noticed if you get outside, you really feel, like some of that brain fog goes away, which is down here, the clear mental fog, but it goes away and you're able to be more creative and thoughts come to you that are unique, that you don't get inside these four walls. So always, always, always recommend, if you're going to do some brainstorming and you have the ability to go outside, definitely do that. Boost mental wellness. Seasonal affective disorder, that's what SAD stands for. There's a lot of people that suffer from seasonal affective disorder. So when you can get out, it definitely alleviates some of the symptoms of that, the depression, the moodiness, the crankiness. It all goes away when you're able to get outside on a regular basis. So if you're someone who suffers from seasonal affective disorder, make sure that you make a plan as we go through this that you can get outdoors all year long, because that's going to be very, very important for you. Vitamin D, everyone's talked about that. Getting 15 minutes of sun is equal to a nice healthy dose of vitamin D. Why is that important? What does vitamin D do for you? It reduces inflammation, and inflammation has been linked to a lot of different chronic diseases, and the more that you can reduce the inflammation, the better it is for your body. So if you don't want to take a supplement, go outside for 15 minutes. That doesn't mean go outside and get a sunburn for 15 minutes. It means go outside, protect it, but still expose your skin to the sun in some manner to get some of that benefit of the vitamin D. Reduces stress. That I think everyone can probably recognize or feel like that, I've been there. I've definitely felt better when I go outside. I know if I'm really having a bad day at work, just going out on lunch hour, walking around really, really helps reduce the stress. And again, probably because it's boosting some of these other things. It's giving you that brain boost. You're feeling more creative. That fog's going away, and all this helps reduce the stress. So these compound and kind of build on each other. This was a fun one. It improves short-term memory. They actually did a study and had people memorize a list of items and take a test, and they did it inside and outside, and that they found the people who had time exposed to the outside actually did better on the test than those who stayed indoors. And then improves overall health. So you can see from all these other things that obviously your health is going to improve if you're outside. But what are some of the other benefits? So I left you some blank lines so you could fill in your own things. So for you, it might be one of the benefits is when you're outside, it's social time. You may be meeting with neighbors. You may be, don't go to sleep. You may be walking with somebody, and it gives you a chance to have some conversations. So that definitely might be a piece or a benefit for you. It may also be just outdoor time is exercise time. You may take your dog out for a walk, and that's part of your daily routine and your daily exercise. So outdoors may be, again, improving your health through activity. But there may be other things that you get from going outside. Maybe you just love your outdoor time in the garden. And so again, that's a stress reliever, but you're also producing food for your family to eat. So that could be another benefit. So I've given you some lines here. These are the benefits that are personal to you. These are kind of scientifically proven, and that's all well and good. But when it comes down to it, you want to know, what's this do for me? What's the good that I'm going to get out of it? So there's some blank lines here for you to write that. So we've got these benefits in mind. How are we going to get them? So let's talk about some of the activities that you can be thinking about as we're deciding, we're going to spend more time outdoors, and we're going to get to a plan obviously in a moment because that's what all edit and design is always about. But first, what are some of the things that you can do to get this time outside? And I always recommend mixing it up. Don't only just do one thing, but try to have a couple of things and even try things you've never done before to see if maybe they would click for you and be of interest. So forest bathing, that's kind of a hot topic these days. What is it? It's going out in nature. You can do guided, you can do unguided, but it's moving through nature. It's not necessarily sitting in nature or watching nature. It's actually just moving through it, feeling the wind on your face, moving through the forest, being aware of the birds and the trees. So you need a little bit of space. Like this isn't something you really would do in your backyard. You'd need to go to a park, someplace where you can kind of go on at least a 20-minute hike to really get in there. You can do your version. You certainly don't have to do the full-blown version with the guide and the tea and all the special activities that they do. You can do your own version, but again, forest bathing is moving through nature and connecting with nature. And then sense exploration and awareness exercise. That's a lot of similarity with forest bathing, but in this you can really sit still and just stop. Feel the space around you, listen to the birds, smell the scents around you, listen to the bees, the insects humming, whatever is going on in your area, the leaves blowing, the wind in the trees. But as you sit there, you start to become aware of more and more layers. All of a sudden you start to hear the birds, and you hear the crickets, and then maybe you hear different bird songs. And you just start to pick up more and more as you sit still and become more and more aware. And that's one way of really, really in a beneficial way connecting with nature. Then there's meditation. You could do seated meditation. You could do walking meditation. So if it's meditation that's seated, this would be something that, if you had a routine, like you normally want to focus on your breathing or you want to focus on a mantra or whatever, you could do that. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it a little better. But you could certainly do that in a seated position. Walking meditation, there's a lot of different things that people talk about, but it's really your foot coming in contact with the ground. So if you're able to do this barefoot, this is great. It's maybe something you could do in your backyard. You could just randomly walk, or you could have a maze. There are meditation walking mazes, which are kind of fun. And just what you're doing in a meditative walk is just focusing on putting your foot on the ground, the way it feels, shifting your weight onto that foot, then moving and shifting your weight to the next foot and letting your weight come off of the first foot, back and forth, and just being very focused on just the act of walking and the way it feels on your feet and the way your weight is moving through your body. So that's another thing that you can do outside. Journaling, we're all about journaling here at Life Edit and Design. So that's one thing that you're going to actually do as part of this workbook, but it's also something you could do. So if you have a regular journaling routine, just take it outdoors. You can definitely benefit, as we talked before, about the benefits of having more creativity, clearing brain fog, reducing stress. That's all going to impact your journaling. So definitely think about that, taking your journaling outside. Drawing, doodling, again, if you're an artistic, creative sort and you're going to have more creativity outside, why wouldn't you take your doodling outside whenever you can? Obviously, if you're painting, you don't want, different kinds of things blowing into your paint, but you can definitely get outside and do a lot of activities in the art world outside. And then there's plain old exercise, right? They did a study. I don't know if it was a big enough study to be substantial, but they studied how people were doing the same workout inside versus outside, and that even when people were staring at a green wall versus a red wall, the people with the green wall had a better workout and reported less, that it was less strenuous than the people looking at a red wall. I don't know that that really translates, but I can say that exercising outside is fun, and it definitely breaks up the routine. So those are some things that you might want to consider, but also your own activities. Like we talked about before, walking the dog or walking with a neighbor or a family member. That's certainly an activity you can do outside. Gardening is an activity you could do outside. The sky's kind of the limit. I left you, the things here. I want you to personalize this. I want you to look at the activities that make sense for you. Going for a hike is one. Going for a lunch hour walk is one. Maybe just taking your laptop outside and working outside is another good idea that you can do. So these are the activities that I want you to kind of fill in, because we're going to need them on the next page. So again, put your own ideas, put little check marks next to the ones you like. So if you like this one and this one, you could do that. Or you say, I really want to journal. That's all what I want to do. Then get that marked up. Next, as we always do, we always have some kind of goal. I mean, this is Life Edit and Design after all, so we have to do something with this. So first off, how much time and how often do you want to spend time outdoors? So this could be something like, I'm going to blow it up a little bit for you so you can see better. So maybe I want to be out 3 times a week, and maybe for 20 minutes each. You could have something generic like that. You could say, I want to be out Monday and Thursdays after work. You could get very, very specific. You could say, overall, I want to be outside, say maybe you want to do 60 minutes a week, and you don't care how you get that. If it's 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you don't care, but you want a grand total of 60 minutes. That's up to you. So again, figure out what fits your lifestyle. Let me just erase this so it's not too distracting. But think about what fits your lifestyle and commit to a goal. And I want you to commit in writing. So if you're using the paper or the iPad version, definitely get out there and commit that. So next, how well will you stick to your goal? So you want to track this, and I'm going to show you a tracker on the next page, and how we improve your track record with making it a habit. So it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to go out 3 times a week. Okay, that's great. So here we are, 3 times a week, we're going to go outside. Well, how are you going to track that? So are you going to say it doesn't matter which 3 days, or is it always Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or is it always Monday, Wednesday, Friday? So you actually need to put something down here because you want to be able to track, and you can't track if you don't write down exactly what it is you're going to do. So how are you going to track what you're doing, and then how are you going to improve with the habits? Habits is one of the key, kind of the cornerstones of Life Edit and Design. Is when you want something to stick in your life, when you want it to become a routine, you need to find a way to make it a habit. So this could be, I'm going to walk as soon as I get home from work. So maybe it's a 20-minute walk with the dog, because the dog needs the benefit, after work. And that might make it a habit for you. Or maybe it's 20 minutes on lunch hour every day. So I'm going to eat for 20 minutes, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes, and then maybe I'm going to socialize for 20 minutes, depending on how long a lunch hour you get. But you get the idea. You need to be specific here. You need to have a goal, and then you need to decide you're going to track it, and how you're going to make it a habit so that you don't miss it. Because if you leave this really loose and goosey, or like kind of, I'll get 60 minutes in whenever I feel like it, then it's never going to happen. You have to make it a habit. So if your goal is 60 minutes, then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to get 15 minutes in every day after work, but I have a cushion so that if something comes up in my schedule, I can always adjust and pick up a day. So get a commitment down. And here's kind of where I had some fun. So you've seen habit trackers before. I'm sure this is nothing new. So this is your habit tracker. It's very generic so that you can keep reusing this, either print this page or reuse this page in your iPad if you're doing that. But here is the idea. So say I'm going to work, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to at least be 20 minutes out in nature, whether it's meditating, journaling, whatever I want to do. So I might say, okay, I looked at my week and I can do Monday, I can do Wednesday, and I can do Thursday of this week. Those look like good days. So you could circle that. And then what I want you to be thinking about is other things you can do, like, okay, when I went into my time outdoors, before I went out, I was kind of grumpy. So here it is, I circled this red. And then when I finished up, I was feeling kind of happy. And then the next time I went, maybe I was feeling pretty good. So I was kind of medium. I don't know if you can see this yellow on there, but I was feeling okay. I was a little bit medium. And then when I finished up, I was good again. The idea is here, I want you to be able to see is, first of all, are you sticking to your commitments? So the purple is showing when I just said I was going to go. So I circled the ones I was going to do. And then color coding it. So how did I feel before? How did I feel after? And it's just a simple way, you don't have to just shade boxes, which a lot of people will just do. Okay, yep, I hit my goal. There it is. I shaded it. You can go so far beyond that by just color coding. And I'm sure all of us have different markers, whether you have an iPad or just colored markers, colored pens, whatever. You can come up with your own color coding system. So first I want you to commit, which days are you going to do it? And I wish I could draw better circles, but I'm not very good at circles. And then use a color coding system. How'd you feel before? Were you happy? Come up with your own mood tracking system. Oh, I was really happy. And when I finished, maybe I wasn't as de-stressed as I thought because something happened on my walk, whatever. What you want to be doing here, and some might have spots down here for notes, is start to look for things. Look for patterns. What's happening? Take notes. And, did you say you were going to walk 4 times and look, you missed 2 times, or you missed a time this week, or you always seem to miss on Thursdays. So start looking for patterns and jotting it down and saying, okay, how do I have to adjust my habit because I'm missing these? Or if you start to see these benefits, like, hey, every time I spend time outdoors, I walk in a better mood. I feel much, much better. Start to mark that down. Because again, the more ammunition you give yourself, if you notice you start to feel better, or you notice how to make this a better habit for yourself, you're going to get those benefits, right? The whole point is to get the benefits that we talked about way back in the beginning. So tracking this and making your why more and more important to you, making those benefits real, so you can say, I was trying to get de-stressed and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing all these green circles, so I know that it's working. I know I'm feeling better after my time outdoors. And then you may want to, when you're doing your journaling, and we have this reflection page that I created, and I definitely want you to do this. After every time you've spent outdoors, so every one of these little times that you said you were going to go out, I want you to finish with a reflection. So even if you went outside and journaled and you did your normal journal routine, that's fine. But Life Edit and Design, everything we do is about journaling and planning, right? So I want you to go back at the end and just start to fill in. And if you can see, this is just a piece of lined paper. Go back and just fill in, how did you feel after? What were you feeling like before you went into your time outdoors? And how did you feel after? And as you can start to look at these reflections, again, you're going to start to see patterns forming. And that's going to help you to make this a better habit. And again, what's the point of having benefits if you don't see if you're really getting them? If you're not tracking, you don't know if you're actually recouping these benefits. It's not like weight loss where you can hop on the scale and you see a different number every time. These are very soft, hard to measure benefits. So this is your measurement system. And what you put in on your journal page is definitely part of that measurement system to say, I spent time outside, here's what I did. So, maybe I did a little walking meditation. And, afterwards I felt great. Start to put, you don't have to write a book here. Even though there's a lot of lines, you don't have to write a book. So I did a walking meditation, felt stressed and distracted at first. So I felt stressed at first. I'm sorry, my handwriting really is bad. But then got focused. And felt great by the end. Easy enough, right? You don't need to write a life story here. But the idea is, as you start to see these pile up, you can start to say, okay, walking meditation works really well for me. And it might take me 5-10 minutes to get into it, so I want to make sure it's 20 minutes long so I really get the benefit. Whatever. I mean, this is up to you to kind of put together. But again, if you're not using these two parts, you're not doing the tracking and you're not reflecting on it, you're not really going to get the benefit. And Life Edit and Design is all about changing your life. And you need to use tools to do that. So we have the fun of creating the tools. You need to do the work. So that is it for this episode. I hope that you got a lot of benefit out of it. I hope you had fun watching me do it on the iPad for the first time. And I hope that you will take this to heart. So again, you can go to the website, you can download the PDF form. You can either use it on your iPad or you can use the paper version. It's right here, there's a paper version. I don't ask for your email address. I never do. So I'm not trying to spam you. You're welcome to sign up for the newsletter if you want to know what's going on. But you certainly don't have to. You can get this download for free. So again, it's lifeditanddesign.com with the word "and" spelled out. So lifeditanddesign.com. So that's it for this episode, and can't wait to see you on the next one.